Good evening and welcome to Albany Student Broadcasting here in the Albany High Gym. I'm Maggie Torpy-Murray.
And I'm Arn Yagisi-Chinan. Tonight's match is Albany Cougars versus St. Patrick St. Vincent Bruins. Last week, Albany had an easy match against the El Cerrito Gauchos, but tonight's game should be much more of a close game.
Definitely. And this is also the game that's right before the senior night, which is next Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to see which players Coach Worsley decides to put in to dominate the court.
Me too, Maggie. Stay tuned for what should be an exciting match.
Welcome back to the game. Tonight's game should be an exciting match as we have the Albany Cougars with 7 wins and 0 losses against the St. Patrick St. Vincent Bruins with 5 wins and 1 loss.
That's right, Maggie. This should be one of Albany's toughest tests thus far this season. In the previous game against El Cerrito, Albany dominated throughout, and as a result, Coach Worsley put a bunch of the underclassmen in the game to gain a little bit more experience. But we probably won't be seeing too much of that tonight.
Yeah, you're right about that, Aaron. We should be seeing mostly the seniors on the court tonight. However, Coach Worsley does rely on sophomore Jasmine Asaya for her consistent serving. In fact, she has the most aces per set out of the entire team, which is really an achievement for a sophomore on the team. She's definitely an asset to the team, and I'm sure Coach Worsley is happy that he'll have her on his team for another 2 years.
Yeah, Brooke Tannehill has the second most aces % on the team. So next season, once she is gone, Coach Worsley will really rely even more heavily on Saya. And it's interesting, even though Tannehill is a very good server, her offense is also exceptional, as she has the 4th most kills per set in the league. But both seniors Amber Arahan and Shannon Ruggiero Curley do have more kills per set, as they are 2nd and 3rd in the league respectively. This is interesting as all 3 senior... Alright, well, so it looks like the game is about to start, and yeah. They're wearing pink once again tonight as it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah, and the gym is also decorated. Actually, we got a little upside down breast cancer sign over there in the far
Is that supposed to be
left
upside
corner.
down?
I don't know.
So as you see on the screen, Albany is impressive 7-0 in league play. They're actually in first place, but St. Patrick St. Vincent is no slouch either. They're 5-1, so this should be a very exciting game, and it's definitely Albany's toughest test so far this season.
Yeah, definitely. I remember last year and in past years in general, St. Patrick St. Vince has been a little more of a challenge than other teams. So this is exciting for the Albany Cougars because they've had not a lucky streak. Of course, they've worked very hard for their place, but you know, the Cougars are just such a great team. They have great communication skills. They work well together. They deserve to be where they are, but it is nice to see them have a little bit of a challenge. So I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, so for the starting lineup for Albany, we have number 2, Christine Lagosto Miller, number 3, Brooke Tannehill, number 8, Anu Munkter, number 9, Shannon Ruggiero Curley, number 10, Amber Arahan, and number 6, Benina Izu Alcobia.
And for the starting lineup for St. Patrick St. Vincent, we have number 10, who's one of the captains, Malia Bolko. Number 12, Isabel Villalobos. Number 4, Nikki Lumaud. Number 17, Michaela Gardner, who's also another captain. So they are starting out strong this night. And also number 15, Taylor Castro. And last but not least, number 5, Julia Kistner.
Yeah, that's for the 5-1 Bruins, which are a much better team than the 0-5 El Cerrito Gauchos. So really, really exciting game. And quickly, Albany is down as the Bruins gain the first point. That's interesting. First time I've seen that happen.
Yeah, and it was the first to serve, and it went quickly to side out. Strong serve, but Albany gets right back in it. Jasmine Asai subbing in for Benita Izuakobia. Like we said earlier, this is just what Coach Worsley does. He puts Asaya in to serve.
Now, just from what I've seen so far, which isn't very much, it looks like number 17 for the Bruins should be a big factor in tonight's game, as she looks pretty tall.
Yes, she
tall
is
players
tall.
usually pretty good at volleyball, right?
Number 17 is playing back row, but she has no trouble getting up there in the front row to make a kill.
So tie game now, 2-2. And
Isabel Villalobos to serve on St. Patrick, St. Vincent.
Ooh, beautiful kill.
Amber really has no trouble getting that ball straight down. This is her specialty as the middle hitter. The setter has a special set for her. The setter usually sets Amber or Sarah Obasi either a 1 or a 2. You may hear the players calling for those kinds of plays later on in the game, but they're specifically for middle hitters, and it really plays to their strengths because they can get up there and slam it down real quick.
It's interesting. I didn't know that.
Substitution for Bruins, 2 people in.
Yeah, number 5 and number 5 Julia Kistner, and number 4 Nikki Lumado coming off the court.
And it looks like they subbed in some shorter players to play back row defense.
Yeah. Ooh, is that out? Now it's in.
Close call, but it's her call.
So it looks like Amber is going to be serving now. She doesn't serve very much, does she?
Nice block by those 2 up there at the net.
Ooh. Scores 5-3 now, Albany. But I mean, you can already see from the first couple minutes of the game that this is going to be a much closer game, much more exciting than last time against the Gauchos, when Albany really just dominated the whole throughout.
Yeah, Amber played a really smart serve right there. She hit it almost like a lob. She hit it really high and really deep, but she specifically hit it to number 17, who's a tall player playing in the back row, so she doesn't know where that back line is. So it's really smart strategy, either coming from Arahan herself or Coach Worsley.
So number 10, Amber Arahan subs out and in comes number, who was that? Who just came in? Was it Munkter? I don't know.
It may have been for her to play back row.
Yeah.
Because if Amber just served, then she'd be having to play back row, which we don't necessarily want that.
Exactly. Beautiful recovery there by Brooke Tannehill.
Yeah, you can tell how the ball wasn't spinning when she passed that to the next hitter, that she really can control the ball, and that comes from years of experience. I think 7 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, she's been playing volleyball for quite a while now, and really, you can really see it in the way she plays. Her experience.
The Bruins are not giving up. They will chase that ball to the end.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them different from the other teams that the Cougars have faced.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tie game right now, 6-6, and with the other games thus far this season, I mean, Albany it really just wasn't a contest. I mean, Albany won in 3 sets, but this looks like it could take maybe 5 sets.
Good strategy by Brooke Tannehill. The Cougars have been continuously hitting it hard and into the back row, and Brooke made a decision to change it up a little bit with a roll shot, so that was really smart play.
And now number 1, Jasmine Asaya, comes off for number 6, Benita Izu Alcobia.
Good comeback by the Cougars. Wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And just a reminder that today's broadcast is brought to you by Contra Costa County Office of Education Regional Occupational Program, a career training program created for high school students and adult learners. Thank you, ROP. Krishna Carpio from St. Pat St. Vince to serve, the libero. Side out, Albany ball. So on the court right now for Albany High, besides Anu Munkter and Brooke Tannehill, oh, you know what? There's also Shannon Riggio Curley in there too. But aside from them, Coach Worsley has decided to put in a couple of the younger players, which is surprising because this is such a tight game.
5 for 8, 16 for 2.
I wonder what he has cooked up in store for them. The underclassmen are playing front row, so you've got the seniors in the back playing defense. And to Shannon for the kill. Easy. Arahan in for Obasi. Munkter to serve. Beautiful short serve. Unfortunately, St. Pat St. Vince is in for the kill. You know, Albany, it's interesting. Albany doesn't seem too flustered yet. They do have a little more of a serious face on them, although Munkter still has that big smile on her face, so she doesn't seem too worried. But you know, being the libero, she has all the backcourt covered. Her responsibility is to make sure that, you know, check that back line, make sure no ball is going to drop in, because Coach Worsley will not tolerate that. So all the players really have to just go all the way to the back, put their foot on the line, and see right there to make sure that the ball isn't in. Sneaky. Great net play up there. A little bit of a joust, actually. Number 17, who made that hit, once she's up there, she cannot do anything about what the blockers do back to her. So her team needs to be back right behind her, covering her. But if you saw, it bounced off her head, so it didn't quite work out. Score is 12-10 Albany. Not much of a big lead, but having a lead will give the Cougars a little more confidence. But they don't need to worry with Asaya serving. Asaya to serve again. If you notice, Coach Worsley will give her some signals on which area to serve. Each section of the court, there's technically 3 back positions and 3 front positions, and each of them are numbered. Sometimes he'll give a little signal to the server on where specifically to serve. Ultimately, it's up to the server to decide where that ball goes, obviously. but Coach Worsley is there to give her a little guidance. Like, for instance, if they have a tall player in the back row, they'll want to hit the ball at them because they're not used to playing defense. Whereas if you hit it at the libero, they are a defensive specialist, so they are sure to get that ball back up. Although not always, so really, it's up to the server.
Are we right? Is 15-10? Is that what we have? It should be on here. What does it say? 15.
The refs are checking the score right now and the positions of each player. It does get complicated because all players, after they start from their original position before the ball is served, they move around the court a lot, just to be sure that, you know, for instance, if Amber starts in the back, she'll run up to hit the ball when the setter sets it to her. So it really depends on, you know, who's keeping track of everything.
11 for 9.
There can actually be a penalty if one team has a player out of order, out of
We have
line,
15-11, coach.
and that's why St. Patrick St. Vincent makes sure to keep tabs on where each player of the Albany High team is, and vice versa for Albany, because, you know, they'll do anything to get that extra point in.
He took it off, but did she take it off?
The
here?
junior varsity team is responsible for the score. It's a very complicated scoring system, and being underclassmen, and maybe even having this be their first time playing high school volleyball, I'm sure there can be some confusion.
We have 15-11.
If you look into the crowd right now, you can notice that a lot of more people are showing up for the varsity game in support of the Albany Cougars and also for the St. Patrick St. Vincent Bruins. It's always nice to see that other people come out from the other team, from the other school, to support them. Lots of parents, I'm sure. And we're back in the game from Poon Palmo to serve. Now, Poon, her serve is very simple, but it's reliable because she can get it right over without a doubt. And 16-11 Albany. Looks like we're getting on a little roll here. And unforced error by number 16, Hallie Webster. St. Pat St. Vincent struggling to control the ball, and ultimately Erhan just gets them every time. Erhan really is the Cougars' secret weapon. Not so secret, really. She's up there at the net, covering everything. And Poon to serve again. She has a nice float serve. This is different from your standard just flat serve right over the net. No top spin, no spin at all. In fact, the ball looks as if it's going straight, but in fact it sort of wavers right before it gets to the player on the other side. So that's become a lot more, that's become a more favorable serve rather than just a hard, predictable topspin serve. And time out for Albany. Today, our undefeated cross-country team is taking on Kennedy, De Anza, and St. Mary's, looking for their 6th win of the season. Unfortunately, I just heard that they lost, but I'm sure they fought it out, and I'm sure that they're happy of their run. And now joining me is Mr. Lopez, our athletic director. Mr. Lopez, happy to have you here. Yeah. Um, so what do you think of fall sports so far this season? Not volleyball in general, but just our fall sports. Yeah. Great. Um, but definitely Albany, I'm sure, has no problems. They're undefeated, and they've always been a strong sport for Albany High School. Um, and most of these players, they don't. I think most of these players actually their only sport that they play is volleyball. And I actually recently read an article from the Chronicle saying that having students only be focused on one sport can lead to more injuries.
Time out 11:21.
Um,
Man, that's pretty high up for high school. You guys, is this a big snooty school or what? Oh no, I went to one of those poor schools down in San Diego.
so a timeout again with Albany 21. Albany with 21 lead in 21 against St. Patrick's St. Vincent's only score of 11. So at the beginning of this set, it looked like it was going to be a pretty close game, but Albany, I'm sure they've talked to Coach Worsley. He's figured out some great strategy for them. All right, and joining here with me today is our athletic director, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Lopez, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. You know, I'm really enjoying this game tonight. It's good to see our girls out here competing.
Definitely, and volleyball is such a strong sport at this school, and a lot of these players, they don't actually play any other sports. And I read an article in the Chronicle saying that because of this, that it leads to a lot more injuries. What's your take on that?
Well, I definitely agree with that. You find that students who only play one sport typically are more injury prone because you're using the same muscles in that one particular sport. So eventually they don't get a chance to recover. So eventually they just kind of wear down and give up.
Yeah, an example, I mean, definitely in volleyball, their backs from, that low posture that they have to keep for a defensive stance. And also in, soccer, the knees, I'm sure, get messed up a lot.
Yep. A lot it's the ankle injuries in volleyball as well.
That's
Because it's
true.
such a fast-paced game. You notice most of our girls do wear ankle braces to prevent that from happening. But that's definitely a common injury in volleyball.
Yeah, last year, the senior Marin Gibson, she broke a leg, I believe, and she wasn't able to play. So that was really sad for her senior year.
Yeah, definitely. I don't remember what her exact injury was, but I do remember her being out for quite a while.
Yeah, but we do try to keep someone on staff all the time to take care of these injuries.
Yeah, we
Kelly,
do. We've
right?
got Kelly, who does an amazing job for our athletes. You know, she's probably one of the hardest working people on campus because she sees dozens of athletes every afternoon, and she keeps track of their injuries and tracks their recovery process. So she definitely does a good job of looking out for our athletes.
Yeah, she definitely does. When I played volleyball, just a reminder, the score is game point for Albany, but side out to St. Patrick's St. Vincent with only 14. As I was saying, when I was a player, I had dislocated my shoulder, and Kelly really took care of me. But I remember she was always bouncing back and forth between the football players who were out in the field and the volleyball players who were here in the gym on the court. So she really has a lot on her hands, and we're so grateful to have her.
Oh, absolutely. I honestly don't know what we would do without her.
Definitely. So the first game goes to the Albany Cougars. Pretty easy, but Yeah, so first game goes to Albany. Pretty easy win. It wasn't looking like that in the first part of the game. But, you know, sometimes when you start out either with a team or just like, you know, if you're playing singles tennis, it just takes a couple points or so to get over the nerves and get your head in the game. So for every game that the girls volleyball has, they dress up. So for away games, they dress formally, you know, look really nice as they, you know, it's kind of a respectful thing to do when they enter another school to play in their gym. But when when the girls volleyball varsity and JV team plays home games, they get a little more creative and silly. And as you see in the picture here, they decided to dress up as guys, so a little cross-gender thing. They just love to get silly like that, and it really helps bring the team together. So they're just strategizing right now. One thing that St. Patrick St. Vincent needs to work on, I think, is just teamwork.
Are we switching every game? Are you guys any good?
Yeah, teamwork is one thing. Communication goes along right with that. Don't you agree, Mr. Lopez?
Absolutely, you know, and definitely, you know, we're a very athletic team, so I think it's a challenge for anyone to kind of respond to some of our athletes that we have on our team. But I think for the most part, St. Patrick St. Vincent is definitely doing a really good job responding.
Yeah, like we said before, they aren't. They're a team to watch out for, definitely.
And they're our toughest team that we play in our league by far.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm excited to be here tonight watching this game. And today's broadcast is brought to you by Clearcom, a global manufacturer of communication systems. We want to thank Rom Rosenblum and Clearcom Intercom Systems of Alameda for their generous mentoring and technical support.
Who's serving? This is Albany, sir. Yeah, you got it. You got him?
So the Cougars are already on the court, but St. Patrick St. Vincent made sure to take all the time that they had to talk everything out. So the starting lineup for St. Patrick St. Vincent, number 5, Julia Kistner, number 10, Malia Bolko, number 12, Isabel Villalobos, number 4, Nikki Lumaud, and number 17, Michaela Gardner. Both times we have both captains in here, and also number 15, Taylor Castro. For the Albany lineup, you have Sarah Bassi, number 4, Christine Lagosta-Miller, number 2, Benita Izu-Alcobia, number 6, Shannon Riggio-Curley, number 9, and Brooke Tannehill, number 3. Also, she's one of our captains, too. So, Brooke Tannehill, one of the captains on the team, both she and Amber Arahan are captains. And like Amber Arahan, as well as Shannon Riggio-Curley, Brooke has been on the varsity team since freshman year, and also since Coach Worsley has started coaching the Albany Cougars. So next Tuesday is senior night for the Albany varsity team, and this is a special night for seniors Shannon Riggio-Curley, Amber Arahan, Anu Munkter, and Brooke Tannehill. Brooke has been sort of the rock of this team, of this varsity team, for like pretty much all 4 years. She's a really reliable player, very sensible, level-headed, definitely qualities that make her captain.
One thing I noticed with her too is she's willing to do whatever's in the best interest of the team. I know last year Coach Worsley changed her, from a back row to she was an outside hitter, and that's really not her position, but it was what the team needed, and she just kind of did it because that's what the team needed her to do.
Yeah, she really has a dedication to the team and to Coach Worsley.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that, it's not about her. She would do anything for her teammates.
Definitely. Even dressing up as a guy, she'll sacrifice
Abs.
that. Tight score, 2-2. So Shannon Riggio-Curley, another one of the seniors that we mentioned, she's been playing volleyball for a really long time as well. And in fact, she really has no off season either from high school volleyball season because she plays club volleyball, which is just another thing to put her over, or give her an edge over the other players.
Yeah, and I noticed this game, St. Patrick, St. Vincent definitely made their adjustments from the first game. It's a really close game this time around, so they've definitely adjusted to what we did during the first game.
Definitely. And Shannon, like Brooke Tannehill, will always be there for her team. And in past years, Coach Worsley hasn't seen her as one of the main players, but definitely for her senior year, he's really had her step up and become that player, another outside hitter, to really push the team through. But we are losing 2-5 right now, so they really need to step it up. Oh, she's been playing for 8 years.
And playing for so long behind Kyra Holt was definitely probably challenging for her, but it's great that she gets to lead her team during her senior year, which I think she's really enjoying that experience.
Yeah, she gets a lot of court time now compared to what she's gotten in past years.
Right.
And she's not the tallest player, but you just saw that right there. She can get up there and slam that ball down.
She's got a fast approach and a great swing.
Everybody's going wild in the crowd. This is a really exciting game. But Albany needs to step it up. They need to figure out a strategy, and they need to get past this serve. Nice up by Tannehill. And the call was that St. Patrick, St. Vincent, they lifted the ball, which is an illegal move. So point Albany. And they needed that, definitely. They needed the side out, and Jasmine Asaya is in there to serve. She's such a strong server.
Yeah, St. Patrick, St. Vincent was on a 5-point run.
She aced that.
Jasmine's another one of those girls that didn't get much playing time last year, but is really taking advantage of the opportunity this year as a sophomore. It's nice to see some of our sophomores out there this year.
I'm sure over the summer when they were doing their summer training, she probably, was, showing off her best moves. She probably, I'm assuming that she plays club too, and so that really helped her out.
I don't think any of the girls on varsity do not play club volleyball. I think all of them play on one club or the other. A number of our girls actually played with Coach Worsley
Oh yeah,
in
right.
his club.
He does have a club.
He does.
Is it beach volleyball or?
No, it's actually indoor. It's a new club. I forget the name of his club, but it's run out of Pleasant Hill out in the East Bay.
Because I remember, well, they took a little vacation, not really vacation because they did play too, but they were over in Hawaii, and they got the chance to play some beach volleyball, which will really help tone their leg muscles because that sand it's hard to move through.
Playing volleyball in the sand is no easy task, that's for sure. It's a great workout.
And Albany has just gotten rid of the tie that they had going on there. Albany 8 to St. Patrick's St. Vincent 7. Let's see how long Asaya can keep this up. Worsley gives her the signal on which area to serve. You know, those back row hits, when the setter sets to a player in the back row, those are always risky because they can't judge as well from where they're standing because they're further away from the net, and they can't see the back line as well. So those are risky moves, but sometimes they're really effective, and I think definitely Albany could pull that off.
Definitely, you have to get a strong topspin on those back row hits.
Yeah, definitely.
In order for them to be effective.
So some other shots that I noticed the players doing, there's something called a push. This is just a little bit stronger than what a set would look like. Basically, it's either the setter does this or just another player decides that it's a better move to do it than to actually hit the ball, to spike it. So they push it, and it's really useful for getting into the deep corners, but you have more control of the ball because you aren't hitting it quite as hard. So that's a useful move. It's not commonly used because Arahan's slamming that ball down seems to be pretty damn effective.
And like you said, it's usually the setter that's doing that. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it's just to throw things off a little, shake things up,
Keep
and
the
then you can usually, and they're right by the net, so they can usually get it right on the net on the other side.
The officials changed their call. They initially gave that point to St. Patrick, St. Vincent, but the line judge called it out.
Yeah, the line judges, I'm surprised that they're both from Albany High School. It's supposed to be one player each from the junior varsity teams, just to make things a little more fair. And also, because they're wearing the same colored jerseys, at least on one side, they can get confused with
Correct.
the players. So that's something interesting. I don't know why they're letting that slide. But you know, it's always tough when people are looking to you, and if you're not paying attention, that can really screw
It can
things
be a
up.
lot of pressure.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I had to do that.
I don't know what that call was, but we got the point for that.
Oh, well, Shannon just hit it, and it went right through the blockers, both of their hands, and like slid down on their side of the net.
Gotcha.
Has Asaya been serving this whole time?
She's on a 10-point run here.
Wow.
She started when it was 7-2.
And now it's 12-8, Albany. So side out, but that was a great run for Asaya.
10-point run, that was amazing. Which this is the first time I've seen her jump serve. I don't know if she was a jump server last year, but it definitely is impressive this year.
No, was she on varsity last year?
She was on varsity, but
Okay.
she didn't get much game time, and I don't recall ever seeing her jump serve last year.
Yeah, Worsley, he really wants the players to be able to pull off a jump serve. Obviously, he wouldn't have them do it if they weren't able to, but
Right.
it gives them an edge, especially because she's not the tallest player. So the higher you are, the further angled down you can get.
Absolutely. It makes total sense. That's why I'm so impressed with her serving this year.
Kuhn is solid with that defense. But an error on Arahan gives another point to St. Patrick, St. Vince, and 2 subs.
I haven't seen St. Patrick, St. Vincent rotate many players in and out. It's interesting that they haven't gone that deep into their bench.
That's true. I'm sure they want to keep their captains on the team.
Absolutely.
And what you just saw right there was a 1 from Amber, from Arahan. That is her, well, not her signature move, but you know, she's a middle hitter. So both she and Sarah Bassi, both middle hitters, that's really their hit. It would be harder for Riggio Curley to pull that move off just because of a height difference. I'm sure Worsley has faith in her to do that, but it's really Obasi and Arahan's hit.
She definitely loves those quick sets.
And Arahan, if you notice, doesn't have a jump serve, probably just because she doesn't need to.
Correct.
And you know, sometimes Worsley.
Amazing save by Legosto Miller.
Really great, but the call is that it's Albany's ball, even though it was supposedly out. It may have been a tip from, the call is that St. Patrick, St. Vincent touched the net on their side. That is not allowed at all. But as I was saying, Arahan really has that jump.
Amazing back
and
row
she was,
hit.
yeah, she was in the back row, but you know, she could really pull that off. Not just because of her height, just because of her skill.
And she's very athletic, and she has a high, very, very high and quick jump, which really gives her an advantage. Because her ability to get up so quickly really throws the competition off.
Smart shot by Tannehill. She, instead of hitting that straight down, she gave a really angled shot, so that, you know, it's just something, you know, something different. They weren't expecting that. And Arahan's serve, you know, it's simple like Kuhn's, but you know, sometimes that's all you need. You just need to get it to the other side and let your team, or the other team, like, make an enforced error, but you know, let your team do the rest. And Obasi tries to pull off the 1. And Amber sticks out her foot trying to save the ball.
That was a great volley on both ends.
It was. And that is allowed if you make it look unintentional. Of course, the little bicycle kick with your foot. Usually I see that happen when the ball goes way deep, like back and like way deep into the court, and they try to save it that way. That's out. And you know, being a tall server, you know, it can also skew your perspective and perception of where the court is. You know.
Definitely.
There's such, you know, there's such strong offensive attackers that their serve is more like an offensive attack, so it can go out. That was a lift, as I think Christine Miller, she tried to save it with one hand, but the ref saw it as a lift. So side out, Albany 19, St. Vince 11.
Coach Worsley did not agree with that last call by the official.
Yeah. Don't let that pink ribbon on his shirt
fool you, right?
Yeah. He will always be 125,000% dedicated to his team.
I'm always amazed at how animated he is and involved during the games. He's not the type of coach that sits during a game. He's definitely in the moment.
Yeah, one time he actually got a yellow card and had to sit. The refs made him sit down because he was pacing around too much and too close to the side of the court. So
I must have missed that game.
Yeah, it might have been at a tournament somewhere else. So Brooke and both both Erhan and Tannehill are both captains of the team, but Tannehill is able to stay in the game almost all the time. She almost never subs out because she's just able to play almost all the way around. Whereas Erhan is a tall player and cannot play the back row as well as some of the other players. So Erhan and Abasi switch in and out, just as you saw right there, from time to time. Great up by Munkter. Nice block by Erhan.
I'm amazed at how the speed of our attack has increased since last year. Last year we were definitely more of a power hitting team, but this year it's more based off of speed.
I definitely agree.
The ball seems to be moving a lot faster than it did last year.
It gives the other team less time to recover.
Absolutely.
Because they are a heavy hitting team. So they, get up there, hit the ball, get back down, and they aren't expecting it to come right back over, but that really gives an advantage to the Cougars.
Absolutely.
Anu also has a really great serve, very reliable. And she's also just a really reliable player. That's what makes her the libero.
Erhan seems surprised by the call.
Yeah, she was asking who touched the net on the Cougars team. Short serve from the SBSB.
One for six.
2 points to the game for the win for Albany for set number 2. I'm sure if this table weren't here and if we weren't here, they would have happily tried to get that ball.
Yeah. She might have taken out the equipment.
Great up by Ruggiero Curley.
I believe they call net on that.
Oh, actually, Anu hit the ball into the net, and we tried to get it back up, but that was 4 touches.
Oh, I see.
Great save by Legasto Miller. And she's right back up there in the game. And Erhan, instead of hitting that ball, she tips it for a little change of pace. And she runs a 4. We gotta give St. Patrick, St. Vincent a little credit. I mean, they kept the rally going for a long time. And they're just as dedicated as the Cougars.
Absolutely, and they forced us to work really hard to earn every point that we've gotten in this game.
So let's make this last point count, because it'll win us the second set. Great save by Munkter. Her eye is glued to that ball. Joust at the net.
Great play by Erhan. Great play at the net.
All right, Mr. Lopez, thank you so much for joining us here today and witnessing these 2 great sets so far.
Thank you for having me.
we're rejoined with Aaron.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm back.
Aaron.
I'm back. Did you miss me?
Yeah, we did, but I had a great time talking to
Yeah, I came.
athletic director Mr. Lopez.
Yeah, that definitely seemed like an interesting conversation. But I come back and I see that Albany's won the first 2 sets, which is quite a surprise because I thought this would be a much more evenly matched game. So the starting lineup for this set for St. Patrick, St. Vincent, we have number 10, Malaya Bolko, number 15, Taylor Castro, number 12, Isabel Villalobos, number 17, Michaela Gardner, number 16, Haley Webster, and number 5, Julia Kistner. And then for the Albany starting lineup, we have number 4, Sarah Obasi, number 6, Benita Izu Alcobia, number 9, Shannon Brigio Curley, number 10, and Amber Arahan, number 2, Christine Lagosto Miller, and number 3, Brooke Tannehill.
Great starting lineup for both teams. They're really going to step it up this time. And I just wanted to point out that that St. Patrick St. Vincent has 3 freshmen on their team versus only 2 seniors on their team. So that's good for them that they're only going to lose 2 seniors. Those seniors are Krisha Carpio and let's see here, and Michaela Gardner, who's the tall player, strong hitter for St. Patrick St. Vincent, and she's also one of the captains too. So that will be a big loss for St. Patrick St. Vincent.
Yeah. As for football, just a reminder, the 2013 Albany football team is still searching for their first win of the season as they play Kennedy this Friday. Their next home game will be Friday, November 1st at 7 p.m. So, unlike the volleyball team, the football team is not doing too well.
Yeah, I heard that too. Do you know any details on that?
Well, I don't know that many details as I'm not on the football team, but their quarterback, the senior quarterback, Nick Sturdad, he's what I've seen from him, he's not a terrible player, but it's just the lack of talent around him is just caused his collapse, sort of.
Well, let's hope that his leadership can help bring the team back up for the big homecoming game.
Yeah, that definitely is going to be a big game for all the players, and they're definitely going to want to get a big win around that. Anyways, back to volleyball. Looks like we got a tie score here. But as you were saying earlier, talking about how there's only 2 seniors on the team compared to 3 freshmen, I think that's a very interesting fact because, I mean, it's good as in next year when the seniors graduate, they won't be losing that much of their talent. But at the same time, I feel like having seniors on a team is a big help as for, they're captains of the team usually, and they help in the leadership department, which can really make or break a team. I mean, if you don't have strong leadership, you could have all the talent in the world and still be a bad team.
Especially having 3 seniors on the Cougars team that have been on varsity for all 4 years. So they
really know what they're doing, yeah.
They really know what they're doing, and they really know how to take care of their team. And also they have like this really great bond with their coach, Coach Worsley.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, they've been with Coach Worsley since their freshman year, so they really know what to expect from him and what he wants from them and stuff.
Tied score.
3-3.
Side out to St. Patrick St. Vincent. And they're going to sub in number 2, Catherine Cortez, for number 12, Isabella Villalobos, who was going to serve, but I think they're going with number 2 for a more defensive approach for later in the game.
Number 8, Nikki Atis, also comes in for number 5, Julia Kistner.
I noticed that we got some bright shoes on the court. For the Bruins side, number 10,
number 10.
Malia Bolko, one of the captains. She's got some bright green shoes.
Those are some pretty bright shoes. I mean, you'll see those from a mile away.
Yeah, definitely. And also a new Munkter who just
she just came off the court, but yeah, we've talked about our shoes in the past. She's got some bright shoes herself.
Halma tries to get that ball, but just can't quite get it. But, you know, the Cougars don't look too worried. They're all smiles all around. Really having a positive attitude really helps your game.
Yeah, I mean, even when it comes down to it, though, they're up by 2 sets anyways. Like, they could lose a set and
Well, they
not be too
can't.
worried.
They can't afford
I
to
mean,
think
they can't
like that.
They can't think like that. That's not what that's not what I mean. I just mean that. I don't know what I mean.
They've lost a game because of that. They thought they were winning, and then the other team just came
Really?
back. Yeah.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes.
But, you know,
You got to be confident, but you can't be too confident.
and as we mentioned before, you know, having 4 seniors really helps pull everyone together, keep that positive attitude. Munkter, you know, she's just been smiling this whole match. She has no worries.
Yeah, I mean, Albany is up right now, 6-4, so nothing really to worry about.
Outside hit. And Albany recovers.
Oh,
We
beautiful
got to get back in
recovery.
the game, though. Lots of net action going there. It all happened so fast, but
Yeah,
the
this-
refs didn't catch, you know, anything.
Yeah, this
suspicious
game
going
has been moving very quickly, though. I mean, there's been a bunch of rallies. It's not so much as in one player one team is dominating, but just the back and forth it's really quick.
Yeah, great rallies going all around.
Exactly.
And if you look to that last point there, the setter for the Bruins, she snuck in a little, she pushed the ball over instead of setting to one of her players, which confused the Cougars.
Yeah.
And they just struggled to get that ball. But, you know, they'll talk it out. Worsley is coaching them from the sideline as always. Really
Yeah, he's always on
helping
the
them out.
sideline over there barking at him.
pacing around, yeah.
So that went a long way.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad we have a high ceiling, too, because in some gyms, in other schools, if the ball goes pretty high up, it can get caught.
Yeah, I mean, even here, there's the basketball hoops and there's a bunch of pipes and whatnot. I mean, they're pretty high up there, but if the ball were to go that high, it would definitely change direction very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm surprised that setter Legasto Miller has been deciding to set to the outside hitters on the not the
yeah.
players in the middle, which is interesting because the ones which are the short sets to the middle hitters have been seen are like really effective throughout
Yeah,
this whole game.
Amber Arahan's not in right now. She's usually the middle hitter, but despite that, I don't know. I think Sarah Obasi replaced her, right?
Right. Those two switch off and on.
Yeah, and she's still a great player in her own. So, not sure what that's about either.
Yeah, Obasi, I believe, is a sophomore. Yes, she's a sophomore. So she still, has.
She still has some learning to do.
Yeah, some room for improvement. But having Erhan there to help coach her on that position has.
Yeah, I think next year once Erhan is gone, as she subs back in right now for Obasi, but they'll have to focus. I mean, they'll have to lean more heavily on Obasi and hopefully she can perform.
You know, if Coach Worsley is looking for height, there is a freshman on the junior varsity team who is, I would say, even like 6 feet tall. What do you think?
That blonde chick?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I know
name,
you're talking about. Yeah, she's pretty tall.
Yeah, I believe her name is Jerry. So, I mean, there was a reason, why she was put on junior varsity, but maybe next year she'll be put on varsity and learn the more advanced moves. And it's 9 to
I
9.
believe she's standing over here not over here, on the sideline.
Oh yeah, she's
number 14.
she's doing lines.
Oh, what just happened?
Munkter has to go out of the game because of an injury.
Yeah, that's not too good. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Number 16, Jillian
Jillian
Guffey,
the freshman, comes on the court.
And her position is defensive specialist, so
Oh, well,
that makes sense.
that's basically the same thing as libero, right?
Well, the libero is the expert, but
But
you
I
know,
mean, yeah. They both specialize in defense.
and you know what? This is the third set, so we were expecting some younger and more inexperienced players to come on if we were doing well. It is still a close game.
It is,
with
yeah.
10
The score is 10-9,
10
but
to
I mean,
9. But
I mean, when an injury happens, you gotta replace them.
yeah, and as I was saying, I was talking with the athletic director, Mr. Lopez. He and I were saying how much we appreciate Kelly, who takes care of all the players in their injuries, and how much we appreciate having her around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Albany has been pretty lucky thus far this season. They haven't had too many major injuries. No one's has to miss a very significant amount of time. But yeah, it's definitely a big asset having a sports med person on the staff. You know.
Yeah, and she also trains the players to learn how to take care of themselves, how to tape up their own more minor injuries, which is really useful all around. If you know,
yeah,
it's really
helpful for just all the sports, not only volleyball. Like football and has been focused a lot recently about how many concussions it causes, and having her definitely would help that, as well as for baseball or basketball or whatever
Definitely.
else. So at Albany's point, making it 12-10, right?
Right. And Poon Palmo to serve.
I haven't seen too much of Palmo, but from what I have seen, it seemed like she's a very good server.
Yeah, she's reliable. I'm sure she's one of the more accurate people, just because she doesn't try to like do anything fancy. Well, some of her serves do end up being float serves, but generally they're all just, she just wants to get it over the net and in the court.
Yeah, I mean, she's relatively new to the sport of volleyball, though. She's only been playing for 3 years. But
yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if she plays club volleyball off season.
I don't know. I don't think so, though.
Well, it is very rare for that to happen, but that was the case a couple years ago. I believe Emma Marquez Shaw didn't play club 1 year, but it doesn't change everything. You don't have to play club to be on varsity.
So it seems like as St. Pat just gets a point right there. It seems like every time Albany attempts to pull away, St. Pat just gets right back into it. It was 13-10, and now it's 13-12.
One of the two seniors on St. Patrick St. Vincent, number 17, who just hits the ball out right now, she
had a very powerful hit.
She's, I would say, the Kyra of their team.
The Kyra of their team. I would have to agree. But I would say that Kyra Holt was probably a little bit better than her.
I think I'll have to agree with that too. But
that's the Gosto Miller serve
yeah,
ball.
like she made that error right there, a classic error for someone of her height playing in the back row.
Yeah.
But even with her presence on the court almost constantly, I believe, the Cougars, they're not worried.
Yeah, I mean, there was another mistake by her. And Albany's bench does that "ooh, kill him" thing again.
Yeah, they always have fun cheers to keep their spirits going. And Erhan is also in the back row, playing back row, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's been working so far. They've just scored 3 straight points, making it 16-12 now. Oh, and a beautiful block there by number 10, Malaya Bolko, one of the seniors on the Bruins team.
Yeah, when things get so fast-paced like that, and there's a lot of action on the net, the defense tends to creep up, to try to support their team, but that leaves the back way open, and that's just something that they have to try to not do.
That's the kind of thing that you're going to have to attempt to exploit, but if you don't, if you make a mistake, then the opposing team will capitalize on it.
Reggio Curley in for Palma, who had a great couple points there. She was right in the action. I'm sure she's happy to get that playtime.
Yeah, now Brooke Tannehill will be serving.
Miscommunication on the Cougars side.
5 for 8, 12 for 2. There you go. 5 for 8, 12 for 2.
Well, Albany
The
seems
ball-
a little unsatisfied after that point.
The call
went
was
to
that
Bruins.
the ball is out, and while it didn't look out, if the ball hits the two antennas that you see on the net right there,
That
that's
count- that-
considered
yeah.
out. Or if the ball is spiked outside of those
Yeah, it
boundaries.
has to stay in between those two antennas.
The Cougars, they have to like stay away from that net.
Yeah, they've yeah. I don't know.
I mean, we really can't afford those kinds of errors. They
Yeah.
cost you.
I mean, in a game that Albany is dominating, I mean, of course you never want to make an error, but in a game they're dominating, it can be a learning experience. But in a game like this, where it's close game, 18-6 now, Albany, they really can't make any errors.
That's true, but they did get right back in there with that tricky shot that landed right in the front row.
Mm-hmm.
And freshman Julian Guffey is in to serve. Deep serve.
And
It's in.
just barely though.
You know-
The Bruins players all thought it might have gone out, and they didn't even attempt to hit that.
And Coach Worsley makes his players run all the way to the back line, put their foot on the back line, and see if that ball is in or out. So that's what makes the difference between these two teams.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, Coach Worsley is a great coach, which is really you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have a very good coach, then your team can be very good. So I mean, it's that combination of talent and coaching for Albany that has made it such a great team over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And before Coach Worsley came here, I don't know what school he was coaching for, but he did coach college teams. So he really has a lot of experience.
Yeah, he obviously has a lot of experience with talented players and just volleyball in general.
And he knows, a thing with him. Oh, timeout from St. Patrick's St. Vincent. We have 4 more points till we win this whole match. So
Albany
they
wins.
need, till Albany wins this whole match. But as I was saying, Coach Worsley really knows how to bring out the best in his players. Over the summer, he watches them really closely, figures out their strengths and weaknesses, and really works with them to figure all that out.
So the 2013 volleyball team will play St. Joseph on senior night this Tuesday, October 22nd. Game time is at about 7 p.m. And that, if I believe, is the last home game for Albany senior. So it'll be a very emotional night, and hopefully it will be a great game.
Yeah, and then after that they have one more away game against,
Yes, yeah.
I believe, El Cerrito,
I think you're correct.
the El Cerrito Gauchos, which they soundly beat in the last game. So we shouldn't have worries there. But definitely please try to come out and support your Albany Cougar seniors.
Yeah, definitely should be a great game. Ooh.
Great save by
Reggio Curley
Reggio Curley.
after a block by Arahan.
And Guffey just wasn't there in time.
Yeah, it went just over the fingertips of Arahan and Reggio Curley.
And that's just something that, Guffey has another 3 seasons ahead of her
To learn, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were 3 years ago there were 3 seniors on. 3 freshmen on varsity, but this year there's only 1, so it's quite quite a difference. But I mean, we've seen how all these players have grown and become excellent volleyball players. So hopefully will happen with Guffey as well.
Yeah, being the only freshman can be hard, but she said that she really appreciates her teammates for being so nice to her and welcoming.
As you can see now, you see Worsley zoned into the game, and he's really just very intense coach. And during the game, it's probably pretty difficult to talk to him. I mean, unless you're a volleyball player, then of course.
And if you'll notice, if you'll notice, he has a lot of like hand signals that he shows to his teammates. And like I said before, some of them are numbers on like which area of the court that they should serve to. But some of them are just helping the players stay positive.
Yeah, I mean, there's really just great communication between Coach Worsley and the players.
And Arahan kills it,
making it 24-17. So Albany is pulled away a little bit now and are looking to get this last point to try to win the set and end the game.
And I'm not surprised that St. Vincent called a timeout.
Yeah, this is a crucial part of it. I mean, one more point and they lose.
But even so, they're going to have a tough time trying to catch up to the Cougars.
Yeah, they're down by 7 points, so. But it isn't over till it's over.
Yeah, I'm sure the Cougars are secretly celebrating inside, but they know that they still have to stay focused and pull out this last point. Yeah.
And that's the end of the timeout as the players will come back onto the court.
No substitutions for St. Vincent, so this is their strongest combination of players.
Yeah.
Well, freshman Jillian Guffey is still in the game.
Yeah, and they have and Albany has Jasmine Asaya to serve, and we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast that Jasmine Asaya is one of the best servers on the team, as she has the most aces per set. So it's no surprise that they would have her in to serve. And with that last hit, Albany wins in 3 easy sets. Well, not easy, but 3 sets once again.
Yeah, that was a great 3 sets. I was wondering if it was going to go to 4, maybe even 5, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought this was going to be a much closer game, but Albany kind of just destroyed them when it comes down to it.
Yeah, but. The Bruins really did their best, and they're walking away from shaking the other team's hands with smiles on their faces. So they know they did the best they could.
I mean, coming into this game, I'm sure the Bruins knew that they were facing the 7-0 Albany Cougars, and it would be no easy feat. So I think just for the fact that they kept the sets close and they didn't get none of them were ever out of reach for a comeback was all they really could have asked for. I mean, they're still 5-2 in league play, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
The seniors on the team that we've mentioned so many times before are only gonna be playing a couple more games, 2 more games, 1 home game and 1 away game. So they really need everybody to come out and have their support next week on what was it, Tuesday for senior night?
Yes, it's next Tuesday. But let's hope that we make it to state again. I think we can do it.
Yeah, okay, just kidding. It's not. I mean, they're gonna have at least 1 playoff game anyways, and so I guess technically it's not the last time they're gonna be playing with each other, but it's gonna be last regular season game. So yeah.
Definitely. And I'm sure the seniors would like to have another Hawaii vacation to play volleyball out there.
They had a Hawaii? What?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I invited?
I believe it was, I don't know, I think it was 2 summers ago. So, great game.
Yeah, it was terrific game, very fast-paced, and exciting all around.
Yeah. So right
Okay.
next here we have an interview with Captain and Senior Amber Arahan. So Mitchell, over to you.
All right. Hi, I'm with Amber, and you played great in Albany's win tonight. How do you think the team played?
I think the team played really great. We worked on it a lot in practice this week about being very defensive, very quick. So I feel like we did that.
In the game, you had a lot of kills. Was this one of your best games?
I feel like every game, a player gets better. So yeah, I feel like it was one of my best games.
All right, good. So the team is now undefeated through 8 games. How does that go for your playoff hopes?
In playoffs, that puts us in a good position. We still have to win one more game. We still have to finish out our season with 2 more games in league, and then that puts us, I think, a bye in playoffs, so it puts us automatically 3rd. So yeah, puts us in a great position.
All right, that's great. Back to you, Maggie.
So saw that interview with Amber. She was talking about how every game she's tried to get better, and I really think that goes for all the players, as we've seen throughout the season how the players have really just gone better.
All right, so that was a great game. With a great game from our Albany broadcasting team, it takes a big team behind the scenes to bring this broadcast of the Albany St. Patrick St. Vincent volleyball game to you. Producing tonight's show is Julian Boscott with associate producer Elliot Montoy. Our engineer in charge tonight is Ori Mouse. Directing our show is Kat Sipowit, and the technical director is Jacob Crowley. Making the show sound so good, an audio engineer Brandon Yee, assisted by Margarita Castro. Shooting the match are camera operators Alex Caceres, Kyle Kristen, and Catherine Sue. Stats are provided by Julie Cow. The bug operator is Miranda Pack. Cecilia Rubens is running graphics tonight. Our sideline reporter is Mitchell Buchanan.
And I'm Anya Gissi-Kanan.
And I'm Maggie Turpey Murray for Albany Student Broadcasting. See you next time.
Good night.